Om Namah Shivaya. Episode 18, Chapter 4, verses 33 to 42. Jnana Yajna, the discipline of knowledge. Verse 33 tells us that Jnana Yajna is superior to Karma Yajna because Jnana Yajna destroys our sense of individuality. It swallows our sense of doership because Atma is actionlessness. Atma is inaction in action. And verse 34 tells us to conduct Jnana Yajna, we do not require praise or a stipulated time. All that is required is a purified mind and a qualified teacher. To gain a purified mind, we must do our duties as a yajna to the law of dharma and accept whatever the result may be as Ishvara's prasadam. Then with a purified mind, we must approach the teacher with respect. And number 3, we must ask appropriate question at the right time on the subject matter that is being taught. And number 4, we must do service to the teacher with right attitude. When we have all these 4 qualities, a teacher who has the knowledge of the Shastra, who has the appropriate means to teach the Shastra, who has a vision of Atma, who is the personification of the Mahavakya Tattvamasi, will bless us with his knowledge and wisdom. The teacher and the student will meet by Ishvara's grace, and the teacher having been won over by the student's devotion, commitment, and seriousness will teach this knowledge until it is converted to wisdom. Jnanina upadekshanti te jnanam. And verse 35 tells us that once we have gained the knowledge of Brahman, our delusion vanishes. Our ignorance that we are the doer, we are the enjoyer, we are seeking moksha will all be removed. Once we have eliminated our sense of doership, duality gets removed. We are no more jivas. We are Brahman. We are Ishvara, the efficient and material cause of the universe. All there is pure consciousness. All there is Ishvara. We see the entire universe within ourselves. There is no difference between us, the individual, and Ishvara. And verse 36, Sri Krishna says that this knowledge, the glory of this knowledge is that even if we are the greatest sinner, we can gain the vision of Atma. For this, we must know the Mahavakya Tattvamasi. We are that, we are Brahman. With this raft of knowledge, Jnana Palvena, we can cross the entire ocean of samsara, this endless cycle of birth and death. This knowledge frees us from all our past karmas. Just like all the sins that we have committed in our dream gets dissolved when we wake up. In the same manner, this raft of knowledge, Tattvamasi, this Mahavakya, will free us from all our past karmas. To know that truly we are Satchit Ananda Atma. The fact is, Atma is never a sinner. Atma is pure consciousness, all-knowing, always free. Nityam, Suddham, Buddham, Muktam, Swabhava Atma. And we are truly Satchit Ananda Atma. And verse 37 tells us, Sri Krishna gives an illustration. Just like a well-lit fire reduces wood to ashes, in the same manner, this fire of knowledge that we are Satchit Ananda Atma, this Mahavakya, Tattvam Asi, will free us from all our past karmas. Our Sanchita karmas and our Agamic karmas will get burnt. However, our Prarabdha karma still continues. We continue living as realized beings, Jivan Muktas, doing our righteous duties as an offering to Ishvara and accepting whatever the results may be as Ishvara's prasadam until our Prarabdha karma gets fully exhausted. Then we drop our body and we become one with Brahman. Verse 38 tells that in this world there is no purifier equivalent to the knowledge of Brahman. And to qualify for this knowledge, we must be Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yogis. We must do our duties with the knowledge that Atma is not the doer. Karma Yoga only purifies our mind. We still retain our sense of doership, whereas Jnana Yoga destroys our sense of doership by knowledge that Atma is in action, in action. In time, this knowledge will take place in our mind and intellect naturally for our ego, ahamkara, to be destroyed. Thereby, Satchit Ananda Atma shines forth as I, our true self. And verse 39 tells us to qualify for this knowledge, we must have three qualifications. First, we must have trust in the Shastra and the teacher. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. Number two, we must be committed to this knowledge. Tatparaha. Third, we must have mastery of our senses. Samyak Indriya. Then this knowledge will take place in our mind naturally to experience absolute bliss. Param Shantim Achirena Adhigacchati. Verse 40 tells us that on the other hand, we will perish if we have no discriminative knowledge, no trust in the Shastra, in the teacher, and if we have a doubting mind. Having a doubting mind is the greatest hurdle, because with a doubting mind, we cannot gain this discriminative knowledge, as we have no trust in the Shastra, in the teacher, even in ourselves. So the world has nothing to offer us in this world or even in the world hereafter. Verse 41 tells us, so we must do our duties without being bound by our action, without having a sense of doership. Na karmani nibandanti. So we must first be a yoga sannyasta karmana. We must do our duties without a sense of doership, knowing that Atma is in action, in action. And number two, we must be jnana sanchinna samsaya. We must have no doubt. We must know our relationship with Ishvara, with Brahman and the universe. For this we must know the tattvas, how this creation came about, what is our purpose in life, and how to fulfill this purpose to become one with our true nature, that is Atma. And number 3, we must be Atmavanta. We must have mastery over our body, mind, senses. We must be alert. We must be Purna. We must know that we lack nothing. And verse 42, Sri Krishna concludes the chapter by addressing Arjuna as Bharata, the one who is born in the Bharata family, to get up and do his duty as Karma Yoga. Uttishta Yogam Attishta. To slay all doubt about the knowledge of Atma. Atmanam samsayam chitva. Born of ignorance, rooted in his mind. Ajnana sambhutam krista. With a sword of knowledge. Jnana asina. Here we are only giving up our sense of doership. But we still continue doing our prarabdha karmas until it gets fully exhausted. Then we drop our body and become one with Brahman. As far as Sri Krishna is concerned, the teaching of the Gita is over at the end of chapter 4. However, not for Arjuna. So from chapter 5 onwards are elaborations to Arjuna's question. Chapter 5 is entitled Karma Sannyasa Yoga. How to do our duties without a sense of doership. So till then, Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashisate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.